So quantum stocks just had a massive day in the stock market, led by D-Wave. QBTS, one of our favorite quantum tickers, had an over 50% day, single day gain, which is unbelievable, but they earned it by their consistent hard work, their dedication to their craft, and they have shown Wall Street that they are on the path to profitability in this brand new area of compute, which is quantum computing. We also saw huge increases from tickers like QUBT, Rigetti. We even saw increases from IonQ and so on and so forth. So we're going to cover some quantum stocks today. And I just want to point out to just everyone that is new to the channel that we have been talking about quantum stocks here since about January. And I know a lot of you that follow the channel invest in QBTS. I know that you invest in D-Wave and you followed kind of their story like I have. And I just wanted to say a sincere congratulations to you if you made some gains today in the market. Well deserved, because there's been points in this past, even in just a 5-month span. Okay, we're in May. We've gone through 2 different crashes that have adversely affected quantum stocks. So the first one was in January when we had the quantum crash, when Jensen Huang had made the comments saying that quantum was 15 to 30 years away. And then once the Liberation Day and kind of the fears in the market really sent tech and quantum plunging. So quantum investors, you guys are the hardy bunch. You really deserve today. And again, this is kind of a misunderstood technology, and it's just great to see the fruits of your patience. And congratulations, just congratulations. Take the time, get an extra a patty on that burger, make it a double. And if you're feeling crazy, make it a combo meal. That's what I'm going to do. Okay. So we're going to jump in and do some price analysis. Let's get in. Holy moly guacamole. Look at this. 51% for QBTS in a single trading day. QUBT, 19%. The magical unicorn delivers. Rigetti, 11%, IonQ, 10%, LAES, 7%. Really, we see that QBTS led this basically rally in the quantum theme. And we had some great news in the macro today as well. We know that there were some trade deals. So the UK trade deal, we had basically good price action through the market. So QBTS chose a fantastic day to report earnings because some stuff is getting done on the wider macro level, which is helping these quantum stocks, especially the small cap stocks. So we saw some fantastic gains for quantum, and we know that even like our big tickers like Google had some recovery after some sell-off. We saw Skywater was up 5%, Intel, Amazon. So just a great day for quantum. Let's take a look at some of our quantum tickers. I'm going to look at for today. We're going to do QBTS. We're going to do Rigetti, IonQ, and LAES. You know what? We're going to do QUBT. We're going to do these. We're going to do the top 5. I think that's fair. We're going to start with the star of the day, D-Wave first. And D-Wave has broken through critical price levels that I've marked on this channel before. And I was tweeting about today. By the way, I'm not very good at Twitter. And if you want to jump over there and follow me, it's Quantum Bull HQ. I'm trying to add value over there. I'm not very good at Twitter, but I'm over there. But I was tweeting today essentially that there are some critical price points that we broke through today. So if we zoom out and we look at the whole chart, and I know it gets hard to look at with the with all the markings. So give me kind of bear with me on that. But I want to go back 6 months, okay? Because then you can really start to see this rise in the quantum frenzy to 1152, this consolidation in the 9s, and then the gap down during the quantum crash. This wasn't very fun for anyone. And then we saw that it kind of just hung around this $6 to $7 level. Then we had the quantum supremacy claim, and we had the raise of guidance. And we saw that for a little brief moment, D-Wave touched this almost $12, just shy of $12 price point. So today, in our challenging macro, we've seen QBTS consolidate under 778. But as I've told you all before, if D-Wave hit their earnings, if they beat and raised, then this stock was basically sitting at its rising support. So what do I mean when I say rising support? So this blue line here is basically an indication of the trend. We're just connecting the higher lows, and it was essentially a perfect technical setup today for D-Wave to explode, because we were literally sitting right on the rising support, and it did exactly that. It exploded, and it went through a ton of key levels. So it went through this 8 level we've marked before. It actually, if we get down to the day chart, I was calling this 930 level was pretty critical for it to get through. And it did bonk its head a few times on 930, and then it used 930 as a support. So 930 is definitely a price level we want to keep on our radar going forward, because that could be potentially the new support. We see some decent consolidation, and then we shot even more to the upside to 1044. At one point, we almost hit 11. So an incredible 50% gain in one day from D-Wave. Congratulations to all D-Wave investors. Congratulations to D-Wave, the company, for delivering on their quarterlies. And retail investors and institutional investors alike, we know that tons of money were made during the rise of the GPU and NVIDIA. And the same thing's going to happen with quantum. QPUs, quantum processing units, are going to change the world in a material way. And we're seeing it kind of play out in real time. We're going to need to have patience. And the big question is, can QBTS continue the rise? So I have a price target for D-Wave at $12. And that's based on sort of the price action from today. And if it was to make its way and continue this run, there's another 19% or so that it could run. I think it could get rejected here off of sort of this and maybe come back and consolidate. In an ultra bull case, we even see it go up to something like 14. I know someone on the channel today had said 14. I think it may be difficult for D-Wave to reach that, but we'll see. Tomorrow, I'm looking for D-Wave to move even higher as long as the macro stays intact. Rigetti had some sympathy gains today. Rigetti gapped up at market open, and then there was a little bit of shenanigans. And then we see this, we're going to connect the bottoms here, and just this steady uptrend. Rigetti moves on volume and moves explosively. We know that. It did actually, we've marked this 1036 exactly many times on the channel before. It's so funny how this plays out in the charts, but 1030 is exactly the top of this channel that Rigetti has been range bound in all the way back to February. So for me to be convinced that Rigetti is in a true bullish reversal, it's going to need to break through 1036, and it's going to need to also get through 1151 for me to be a true believer that the stock is on its upward. So in a poor macro conditions, or if the market isn't as good in the near term, we could see it reject off this 1036 and work its way down. Now, similar to QBTS, we do have a rising support, and and those do come into play. Let's see. Let's grab the chart and go like this. So this rising support here, this blue line, it would be about $9 would be what it would come down to, $8.90 or so. If the stock continues, so in a bear case, we're going to just bounce around in this channel more. In a bullish case with good old Rigetti, we could see something like a rejection. Then that's used as support. Then 1237, 1301. We're going to have some levels to get through, but there's a lot of potential upside in Rigetti as a stock. And we know that Rigetti has consolidated in this $13 to $15 range before. So Rigetti wouldn't be shy to get back to those levels. Can it get back to its all-time highs? I have done an earnings preview. You can go back and look at that video on the channel. I don't have huge expectations for Rigetti. The CEO says it's an R&D company. Maybe they come out and they meet expectations. Maybe they miss. Who knows? They're still considering themselves a research company. So as investors, we have to temper our expectations. And we have seen that the stock has just kind of hung around this $7 to $10 point. It seems to be pretty comfortable in this channel. So what do you guys think? Do you think Rigetti is due for a breakout from this channel that it's been in? Or do you think it kind of hangs around in this channel? If I had to call it right now, based on today's price action, I think we could be at the very, very precipice of a bullish reversal to the upside. Let's keep watching Rigetti closely. IonQ continues its run, and I would consider IonQ at this point to be in a reversal. And we can see that pretty clearly when we look back 1 year. We know that in March and April, early April, when the market was doing its worst, this stock could be purchased for $17 a share, $19 a share. And now we see this pretty clear rising support. I'm going to take the April 8th, April 7th. The market was just, we're going to just connect these lows here because that seems more realistic to the trend that's forming. So what happened on the day chart today? So we explode on volume. Well, let's see actually. So we had good earnings from IonQ. We do know that is a catalyst here, but we had some sharp sell-off similar to Rigetti at market open. Then we move our way up, and then there's this huge amount of volume in the middle of the day. I do think that IonQ had a headline today. Let's take a look. Okay, so IonQ, this was yesterday, to acquire Capella Space in bid to build ultra-secure quantum network. So similar vein to ARQQ, LAES. I don't know if they had anything more recent, but that was a lot of volume to come in intraday, and there's just a lot of positivity in the market today. So it pushed all the way up to 33. It got through this critical $30 level. If we look back at IonQ, that $30 point has been a spot of resistance. So if we just take this, we see that there's been some rejections. Oh, that is a really bad arrow. Let's just do the out of the box arrow. And we're now kind of stair stepping our way up. So my next level for IonQ, I think we kind of have some clear skies ahead up to 36, where there's a clear, that's 44, 36. We had about 4 tops, 4 rejections before. 44 is going to be a big test for IonQ. There's going to be probably a lot of sellers stacked up at 44, but IonQ does look to me like it is in a bullish reversal, and we can measure that exact reversal. So we're just going to go down in the chart here. We're going to click the bottom. So we've already had an 83% move since the lows in March. So to me, that's a strong indicator that, so I want to get out of this yellow area, these yellow bars, and I want to start to see us get back into this area. And then the next step will be to test the all-time highs. But let's not count our eggs before they hatch. Let's get back into the mid 30s, and then we can start talking about the higher price levels. All right. Okay, I actually want to know, do any of you invest in QUBT? I have a small position. I know very little about this company. I've said it on this channel many times before, kind of like the mystical horse of quantum computing. I know they do room temperature quantum. They have some connection to NASA. They don't make a lot of money, but they're hanging around all the time in this conversation. And they had a really good day today, an 18% day today. So tell me in the comments about QUBT if you own this stock. So we have to go back all the way to February, which is February 25th, to the last time we were around this 850 price point. We've been range bound on QUBT since that point. We're kind of, it's similar to Rigetti, a little bit lower floor, $4 on the floor and $9 on the ceiling here in this range. Now, if we go back to the quantum frenzy, QUBT was pumped all the way to 27. That seems very far out of reach for QUBT at the moment, but it does seem that it's possible that QUBT wants to break out of this range and start to move into the 9s, 10s, and maybe 12s, where we see that it's topped 5 different times. So these are levels that I would look for. I would not say there's enough here yet from a chart perspective that I'm convinced that we are in a full bullish reversal. In a bear case, we would just see QUBT continue to chop around, bounce off the $4 support. In a bull case, we would break through this 9 level, probably reject at 1077 because we've rejected many times before, and maybe move up from there. But we are going to have to see. Again, tell me in the comments if you own QUBT. On the day chart, they did incredible. They had a 19% day. They gapped up, sold off a little bit at the beginning, and then just had actually one of the cleanest charts of the day, just consistent, steady buying through the day. You love to see it. You love to see it. All right. So final stock of the day, we're going to look at LAES. So LAES is kind of a cybersecurity play, and they're a penny stock and they're just getting their feet under them. And we know in the quantum frenzy, they went up to $11. And I've marked out these blue lines indicate this downtrend that we've been seeing. So lower highs and lower lows. And this range between 214 and 285, it's real, like LAES had a bit of a pump back in mid-March, but that was a month and a half ago. And for the vast majority of the past couple months, we've just been kind of hanging around between 214 and 285. So from my perspective, there's no clear indication that we're actually in a bullish reversal. We did have a nice day. It looks like some sympathy gains on a lot of these tickers, with QBTS leading the way. If we look at market close yesterday to where we closed today, there was a 7% gain. If we look at the top 9% gain. So, and let's take a look. If we zoom out, do we see any significant? So we do actually see a little bit of an uptick in volume in green candles. So that's something to watch as well. Okay. So that's everything I've got from you. I hope you found that price analysis useful. We just did 5 stocks in roughly 20 minutes. I hope you appreciate this information and the information I've been trying to share with you. If you haven't seen it yet, D-Wave, I did an interview with their VP of Tech Evangelism Murray Thom, this video here. So it's 2 videos back. Insanely good interview. Not that I was a good interviewer, but the interviewee, Murray Thom, was exceptional. It's packed with information. If you want to learn why QBTS is doing so well, it's not a fluke. It's not by chance. It's by hard work that Murray, Dr. Baratz, and all the talented folks over there have been doing for their company. And it's just interesting to see that reflected in the stock price, and retail and institutional investors recognizing that value. So again, congratulations to everyone. I want to also say thank you. I see that the channel is very close to 1,000 subscribers. When I started this channel in January, I had no target subscriber count. I did not have, all I wanted to do was talk about quantum stocks. And it's been a really fun journey with you all. I really also want to thank you to the community around the Quantum Bull, and just the people that are commenting both on Reddit, in the YouTube comments. The positivity is amazing. Like a lot of us are like-minded, and we're just kind of looking to learn and educate ourselves. And I think the market in general is pretty uneducated on quantum, and we take the time to kind of know what we're talking about and what we're investing in. And we got some reward for that today. So thank you to all of you for the continued support, and hope you have a great day.